Gamers. Gal. Non-binary pals. My friends went to a tournament of sorts. One might say it was a tournament for the World Championship. You know, some individuals may have been there, and all I'm gonna say is that, some people might have done really well. Some people might have done pretty good at these events. The actual answer is Jesse. Jesse went to a World Championship celebration local, and he got second place, which sucked because he went 3-0-1, but one person went 4-0, so unlucky. But he won the raffle, which is the important part. He won the raffle, scammed his silly little whatever, and yeah, what could I say? Better player, better duelist. What needs to win the event? We can just win a raffle. Free couple $100 here, but apparently these might be a little underpriced for a while because this is like the big one in terms of like how widespread this particular event was. A lot of stores and Konami was just like, we're gonna have a mass World Celebration tournament, as well as because the player base kind of grew a little bit. So there's a lot more stores and a lot more players doing these events. So there's actually a relatively larger supply of these compared to previous years. But yeah, in like maybe a year or two, it might be like $1,000 or $2,000, in which case, you know, it's a pretty good time to juice it. But Jesse posted it, and he was like, one of our other friends, tour guide, made it. Oh, hi, yugioh. Are you at Worlds? I don't know anything about Pro Yu-Gi-Oh! All I know is that your name came up a lot, and I know nothing about it. So we're gonna have to, whatever it's called, we're gonna have to catch up on that. Yeah, I'm at Worlds. Good job. How's Seattle? I heard it sucks. Are you participating? Or are you a commentator? I know literally nothing about Worlds. It's meh. Sounds about right. Tell Farfa to not be a punk ass motherfucker and to fly over to San Francisco. I was playing. Good job. I hope you won. How do you spell this? Yugioh. Oh, you're a competitor. Wow. What the fuck did this happen? What the fuck? You semied Worlds? What did this happen? I don't know. You can tell I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh anymore. Anyways, last year. Sounds about right. How are people defending Decade? Not the kiss of Trish. Shout out to my ex-teammate, I guess. My deck's some World today. Wow. Apparently people are cutting Ultimate Nightmare. I mean, Terror Incarnate. This looks like a list. Yeah, some people are cutting Terror Incarnate because they're just like,
why would I need to float when I could just recycle a Phantom forever?
Wait, did you switch decks? This might be Master Duel. Is this Master Duel? I don't know anything about this. Because ain't no way you willingly played Vanquish Soul at Worlds. Oh yeah, it's the Master Duel 3v3. Okay. Probably the Maxis in the main deck should probably tip me off, but you know. I thought like you willingly decided to play TCG. I was like, I know what'll be Fiendsmith Snake Eye. Vanquish Soul! That chest. My reaction when Raigeki. VS Gaming. I mean, yeah, obviously like Raigeki's a little bit better when Raigeki Book of Moon, the strat, is a little bit better when you're against like pure Snake Eye. Not saying it's like a lot better, but Ryan also made top cut with Vanquish Soul. Sounds about right. This is the beat stun because Yubel doesn't beat stun ever. Yubel like can beat stun if it wins the dice roll. If you win the dice roll and you play escape like a weirdo, then like sure you can kind of beat stun sometimes. It can't. Oh, are we talking like super duper stun or are we talking about like wait, does Verujas exist? Oh, you don't have Veruja. Okay, never mind. Yeah, I thought that this card was in Master Duel. Dude, Master Duel's such a fucking fake game. I'm so sorry. This format's so silly. Oh my god. It's so weird seeing TCG decks in like Master Duel, but like none of the shit is released synchronously. Like there's no Fiendsmith stuff, so this deck just feels infinitely weirder. It looks infinitely weirder. Like you're still playing stuff like Access Code, like the Double Yama, the Anguish, or like in the TCG there's Fiendsmith cards, or like and like Aerial Eater. No Aerial Eater because of whatever it's called. Oh my god, it's just a fucking headache. I hate this. The format's really fun, a lot better than TCG right now. I don't really know how to feel about Master Duel, not because I think that Master Duel's a bad game. I think it is, but you know, it's more like I don't like how a lot of Master Duel, the decks are very polarizing. You know what I mean? Like in terms of like what decks are meta, you'll either have like very wombo combo like Yubel or like Snake Idea Bellstar, or you're gonna have decks like Stun. Like the Stun deck, like the fact that there were so many people on Stun, 2 Barriers Statue, 2 Fossil Dyna, Raigeki Among Us, it feels very frustrating to play like this weird rock paper scissors where like some decks can beat some decks like 90-10 and like some decks can lose to like other decks 10-90. It's just like this very weird scenario that I'm not a huge fan of. Like some matchups just feel unwinnable in certain times, and I'm not like the biggest fan of that sort of dynamic. As well as the fact that like a lot of decks in the format are kind of centralized around Maxi. Like Maxi is kind of like he's the real bringer of end times in the sense where it's just a very frustrating card to go against because like you get draw phased Maxi, you want to fucking shoot yourself because you either play into it and like your opponent like you know triple hand drops you blah blah blah, or like you know your opponent hand loops themselves and then they feel like a fool, and it's just like this Like, what the hell? And you could argue that like Maxi is like, oh, it's like this very like Maxi's fair. It's not always live. Flu enjoyer, by the way. Hell yeah. Versus like XYZ matchup versus the APC. But in my opinion, if a card exists that literally reads win the game in some matchups versus like do literally nothing in others, then I kind of think it's a little silly. Is TCG better? No. Both formats are frustrating for their own specific issues. Like the TCG is very frustrating in the sense where like stuff like time rules exist and the ban list, the ban list balancing is very suspect at times. Like our latest ban list, some people will say like it's, you know, it was like, oh, like XYZ list was very good. And like I do agree with like the idea that like some aspects of the ban list have been good, but it's very much like sure, we beat Snake Eye. Oh, wait a minute. We didn't hit the literal second best combo deck that saw like maybe like 10% less representation comparative to Snake Eye. Like Yubel was like maybe a 15-20% represented deck compared to like Tenpai's 25 and Snake Eye's 40. Like Yubel is still a real deck. Like it's just like wasn't as good as Snake Eye or as resilient as Snake Eye. And like Konami's just like, yeah, let's just Yubel's, it's fine. Who cares? Who cares? Who needs it? All right, I guess I could just like mark this timestamp down as like relatively me yapping about Worlds. Sorry, Doodle, I'm kind of a piece of shit.